everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I think I know all of you. So my name is Leila. I'm the founder of Early Growth, and our mission at Early Growth is to empower individuals and teams to reach their goals through leadership, well-being, and performance programs. So today I am joined with my business partners, Alex and Ous, and we are very excited to talk about how to boost team well-being and performance. Thank you, Alex and Ous. Thank you for joining us. So would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, with pleasure. Hello, everyone. Good morning, Europe. Good afternoon in Asia. So happy to be here with Leila and Ous. I'm Alexander Heinrich, based in Geneva, Switzerland. I'm a well-being and performance coach, as well as the owner of a well-being campus in Geneva that will be opening in September, and super happy to be here with you today.
Thank you, Alex. Ous?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Leila. Welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Oussama Labib. People call me Ous. I am based out of Singapore. I'm the CEO and founder of ICLEA. We're a company focused on helping MNC corporate organization accelerate the team performance and build agile and high-performing teams. I'm also a certified team coach, and I'm really excited about talking about well-being and performance during this webinar today.
Thank you, Ous. So before to get started, I just would like to tell you that this presentation is recorded, and as you can see, it's a very small and intimate audience. So we want it to be very interactive and engaging. So please feel free to turn on your camera if you want, and also feel free to share your thoughts in the chat box, and you can also prepare your questions for the Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Okay, so as you know, today's topic is around well-being and performance, and today we have a chance to have with us Alex, who, in addition of being well-being coach for busy executive, he is also a meditation teacher. And I just would like us to start with the well-being practice. We are all going to take a few moments to take time to transition from our last activity and to bring our mind to our body and be fully present and ready for our session. So, Alex, hand over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Leila, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to lead that meditation this morning. So let's maybe start and welcome to this meditation focusing on here and now. The goal is just to let go of all the preoccupation of the day and being ready for the webinar. So we're just going to begin by embarking on a journey within, getting in touch with our breath and body. So now you can just find a comfortable position. You can close your eyes, or if you prefer, you can just lower your gaze. Let's begin by taking a moment to allow your body to settle into a comfortable position. Settle into your body just by connecting with your breath. Bring your attention to your breath, one breath at a time. Simply notice that you are breathing and just observe how your body and mind begin to soften and relax. And whenever your mind wanders, just gently and softly bring it back to the breath. Do this gently and without any judgment. Take a moment to breathe and relax. Don't attempt to change your breath in any way. Breathe simply and normally. Take a few moments to examine the body and what is present now. You can place one hand on your stomach and another hand in your chest. And breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth or your nose. When you inhale, feel the stomach expand. And when you exhale, feel your stomach contract. Inhale, feel the stomach expand. And when you exhale, feel your stomach contract. Continue this in your own pace, at your own time. And just observe what is happening in your body, in your surroundings. Just enjoy the present moment. When you inhale, feel your stomach expand. And when you exhale, feel your stomach contract. For the participants who just joined us, we are just focusing on the present moment through a meditation. So just take that opportunity to slow down the pace and join us for this. Feel your stomach expand. And when you exhale, feel your stomach contract. Now, when you inhale, feel that you are taking in positive, uplifting energy. And when you exhale, feel that you're releasing any stress and anxiety. When you inhale, feel your stomach expand. And when you exhale, feel your stomach contract. And maybe do it one more time at your own pace. Really feel the breath with no rush or force, in your own pace, at your own time. Just observe the feelings in your body. Now, slowly and gently, start coming back to your surroundings. Return to the body and the breath for a minute at the end of your practice. Just finishing with a full deep breath in and a long breath out. Now it's time to slowly and gently come back. When you're ready, at your own pace, bring back your awareness. And at your own time, you can open your eyes. And you can maybe stretch your arms, your legs, and just give a thanks to yourself for these couple of minutes you allowed to yourself. And I just thank you very much for your time being with me in this meditation. And I think now we're fully ready to start the webinar, Leila.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you so much for this guided meditation. Actually, we are not going to start yet. I am just going to ask you to take a few moments to check in on your emotions and your feeling, and also share with us on the chat your feelings. So I can start. So I feel very calm. Thanks to Alex. Thank you very much for that. And also I feel very grateful to be surrounded with all of you. And at the same time, I feel also energized by the perspective of this presentation. Oops. Sorry. Okay, so Alex, how do you feel after guiding us with this presentation, this meditation?
Yeah, I feel great. This is a practice I usually appreciate a lot, especially before giving a presentation or being a bit stressed, just taking a couple of minutes just to refocus on yourself. And it's for me really like a great help in my well-being practices. So I feel great. Thank you, Leila.
Ous, what about you?
I feel very energized and excited for the rest of the webinar now.
Okay, that's great. We need energy. Okay, cool. So let's get started, and let's deep dive on the topic of today. So we are going to start with a small exercise, very easy, no worries. So we are going to ask you to think about a wonderful team experience, or a wonderful work team experience that embodies well-being. And we will ask you to share with us on the chat. Oh, thank you, Ghislaine. So you feel grateful, confident, and curious. Okay, cool. Thank you. So yes, and we are going to ask you to think about a wonderful team experience, and to think about the key elements. What is it that make or made this team experience amazing? Or if you want, you can simply share with us on the chat, what does team well-being mean to you? Okay, so don't be shy, share with us. What does team well-being mean to you? Okay, so maybe Ous or Alex, you can give some elements.
Yes, I was
inspired. Harmony.
Harmony, yeah.
Okay, team harmony. What else?
For me, it's understanding ourselves and understanding the others as well.
Okay. Working better together. Absolutely. Thank you, Ghislaine. Being yourself with others. Yes, authenticity. Okay.
Inclusion, where team members feel free to be themselves. Thank you.
Oh, this one is great. This is about safe space and psychology safety. Okay.
Yeah. Confidence and trust from Norbert.
Sharing our positive energy. That's great. Thank you, Ghislaine. Okay. So keep all these elements coming, and think. Yeah. Now we are going to ask you to think about what do you think is the most challenging among all these elements that you brought to us? What aspects of this team well-being that you feel are the most challenging to have? Be part of one team, yes, the belonging. Okay, the belonging. Being part of one team, this one is very challenging, especially now with remote work and the hybrid format of work.
Yes, bring people together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, understanding of each other and feel trusted. And we have also team ability to work together.
Okay. Okay, so I think that we are going to cover all these elements, or at least some of them, during the presentation. But before that, I just would like us to define together the concept of well-being. So the well-being at the workplace. So this is a quite a common definition of what does well-being at the workplace mean. So it includes mental, physical, emotional, and economic health. And it's also influenced by workplace culture, relationship, resources, and decisions. Now, why do companies invest in well-being? So there are four main reasons why companies invest in the well-being. The first one is productivity. We all know that when we have employees who feel good, they are more productive and they are more performant, and they display healthier behavior and decision making. The second reason is high employee morale. So when employees feel that all their needs are met, financial needs, mental or physical needs, they feel valued and they feel competent. The third reason is related to attracting talents. So if your company has a good reputation in the market about flexibility, respecting work-life balance, you are more likely to attract skilled talent and also to retain existing employees for longer period. And the last but not least, customer satisfaction. So it's very common. Happy employees are a great ambassador. So if you treat them well, they will pass this energy, this positive energy, to the customers, and they will feel motivated to understand your products and your services in order to better serve the customers. Okay, so now how does company secure all these assets? This is the common, I would say, benefits and activities that companies today provide. It could be financial benefits, pension plans, income protections, physical health benefits, life insurance, gym discounts or gym vouchers, mental health benefits, everything related to to mindfulness, meditation, sometimes it's coaching sessions, and work-life balance benefits, PTOs, or some companies even offer unlimited PTOs, parental leave, sabbatical, etc. Now, the reality is a little bit different. So despite all the efforts that companies deploy to offer all these benefits and fancy activities to their employees, the level of stress and the burnout still very high, and it's not something that we tell you. It's really based on research and statistics. So, Alex, hand over to you. Can you tell us more about this and how, and give us some statistic and the survey related to well-being and stress at the workplace?
Yes, absolutely. So I was just looking for like three figures to illustrate why there's still a very high level of burnout and stress. The first one comes from a Gallup survey who says that today 76% of employees have admitted experiencing symptoms of burnout for reasons ranging from poor management to unmanageable workload to unfair treatment at work. So the high pressure is really present in companies. And as we see, 76% of employees admit of having experienced symptoms of high stress and beginning of burnouts. The next stat that is quite interesting as well, that comes from the American Institute of Stress, 60% of absenteeism was associated with stress in some ways. So that's still a lot. And you can imagine the cost. If we are talking about cost, we found in the McKinsey sources that the cost in the US from this, so it's a healthcare cost about stress and burnout is more than $200 billion per year in the US. So these figures are still very high, even though it really has been considered now within companies that it has a huge impact.
Okay, wow, thank you, Alex. This sounds very alarming, and it looks like it's a big challenge for organizations. So my questions to you now, Alex, is what do you think are the key obstacles to have like a sustainable well-being policy or well-being strategies within the organization?
Yeah, thank you, Leila. I've spent more than 25 years in the banking industry. So I was really facing all these key obstacles to develop my own performance and my own well-being. And I was also facing sometimes a very high level of stress. And this is why I decided to address all these issues first for myself and now as a coach and work with companies as well. So first, if I look at the key obstacle to sustain well-being, I really insist on sustained well-being, not wanting to have well-being, for a little period of time or like developing performance for just one particular objective, but really in the long run. From what I've seen in general, it's a very high level of stress. It's very often linked to heavy workloads, tight deadlines, demanding expectation that really contributes to increased stress levels. And that has a terrible impact on well-being. Second is a lack of work-life balance. So balancing work responsibilities with personal life is really challenging, leading very often to overwhelming and burnout. This is, I was really facing this. I knew that I needed to take more care of my family as well, and it either increased my own stress. So it's also very often linked to long hours of work, limited flexibility, and also often of blurred boundaries that hinder well-being as well. Then we have a poor workplace culture. Very often in some companies, you can experience toxic behaviors, lack of recognition, or even ineffective communication that really create a stressful and unsupportive work environment. And this affects also a lot of well-being. Then I would say insufficient resources and support. So today we are really like trying to master the cost, being more profitable. So we have limited access to resources. We spend less time training our people. and we have also a lack of support system, and that makes it not more accessible for employees to manage their workload and address well-being concern. So we are really pushing and putting a lot on top of our employees. Then we have also a lack of autonomy and control. We can have the feeling of powerless and lacking decision-making authority that really leads to reduced job satisfaction, and it increases also stress levels and impact well-being. And finally, in general, it's like inadequate focus on self-care. So really neglecting self-care and prioritizing work over personal well-being. And this is really something that is key, not spending enough time to think about yourself, to re-energize ourselves, because it's really contributes to a lot of fatigue, reduce productivity, and drastically also increase burnout risk. So focusing on our self-care is also key. Now, if we are looking just a little bit more about some specific elements about work, let's say leadership style. If you have like an autocratic or unsupportive leadership, it will really create a negative work environment. And if you create like a supportive and empowering leadership, it will really enhance well-being, engagement, and performance in the company. Second, we have a lack of clarity on roles and responsibilities. So unclear and overlapping roles and responsibilities cause confusion and stress. So it's important to have clear communication and really to define roles. I found out as well a lack of clarity on goals. That means uncertainty about organization and goals leads to disengagement as well. So it's important to have clearly defined goals for direction and purpose as well. Giving purpose to people on what they do is really key. Now, if we take just the workload, so excessive workload, unrealistic deadlines, and high demands leads also to stress, burnouts, and decreased quality of work. So it's very important to balance workload and provide resources to people, not only financial resources, but also human resources when they need it. We have also a lack of social support. Inadequate social support leaves employee feeling isolated and unsupported. So having a strong social connections and supportive environment is key as well. And finally, a lack of psychological space for communication is also key. So safety usually, so a lack of psychological safety usually blocks transparent communication, conflict resolution, and feedback. And this has also a high negative impact on well-being. So for that, we can foster on an atmosphere of trust and open communication. So really addressing these obstacles requires proactive efforts from leaders and organizations. So key is clear expectation, realistic goals, effective workload management, social support promotion, and more importantly, a culture of transparent communication and feedback are really the key steps towards sustaining well-being at work. So I think it's also like a summary of most of the things you discussed at the beginning of the webinar when we were asking you about your challenges. So this is for me the key obstacle, Leila, I can see, and I have seen in my previous work in companies.
Yeah, they all seem very familiar, I think, to all of us. I would just would like to add that it's a great recap, because we can see that there are that we have here like two categories of obstacles, the personal ones and also the ones that are provided by work environment and the workplace. Okay, so thank you, Alex. And sorry.
Yeah, if I can just add one thing, I think it's key to define which are our responsibilities as individuals or employee, and which are the ones that are under the responsibility of the company. And we are very often blaming companies, but we have to look at ourselves as well. And we need to start with ourselves, maybe first, to go towards a sustaining well-being behaviors.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alex. And yeah, we can see how all these obstacles impact negatively the well-being at the workplace, but not only, they also impact performance. So how does this impact performance, Us?
Thank you so much, Leila. Thank you so much, Alex. I really like how you put it. It starts with yourself, and then the next question is, how do you bring it to your colleagues, the other team members, or if you're responsible for a team, how do you bring it to the entire team? And what's going to be very interesting is to look at the levers of performance for teams, and you will find very much the same thing. Before we dive into this, I think it's important to define what exactly do we mean by a high performing teams. And I'm pretty sure you can all remember being part of a team that was performing at an excellent standard. Maybe that was a team at work, maybe that was a team in college or university, one of your sports team. But there are 10 elements that make a high performing team that you can see on the slide right here. And some of the elements are the same one that have a direct impact on well-being. So for instance, goals, having clarity on the goals, where exactly are we heading towards to? As you said, Norbert, in the chat, it's important that everyone share the same vision. But that's exactly how you can ensure and that the team that you're working on or that the team that you're leading is going to be performing. The idea of having open and constant feedback and communication, the role of the leader, this idea of interdependence, the fact that, we need to rely on each other. That's what you said, Olivier, in the chat as well. We need to trust and we need to rely on each other so that we can get the job done, is another element of high performing team. This is a little bit the dream that every organization, every leader is aiming for. The reality is that it's not that rosy. And if you go on the next slide, Leila, what we know is that this is a little bit the vision of where we would like to be, but we're not always there. And what we know is that in order to become a high performing team, there are necessary steps that the team or the group will have to go through. And the question will become for you as a team member or for you as a team leader, how fast can you accelerate the development process of the team can become high performing? You see here 4 stages of team development. We consider a team being a high performing team when you get your team to stage 3 and stage 4. This is where there's a high level of work, productivity, a good level of trust and structure. The reality is that teams don't start there. If you're joining a new team, if you have new team members coming in, if you have a new team leader, teams will necessarily start in a stage 1, where we call it dependency and inclusion. Dependence towards the leader. I'm not 100% sure about what's the goal, what's the role, how do I fit within the team. I don't really feel safe. I don't really feel included. I don't know my team members. So you can also start to see how the well-being of team members is not that high at this level. Once people are able to get clarity on those elements, the team will necessarily go into what we call stage 2 of counter-dependency and fighting. Now that I feel safe with you, Leila, with you, Alexandre, now that we know each other, well, I will start to challenge you and we will start to disagree. But is that really the goal that we should be aiming for? Is it really the best process? Is there another way that we can consider? And with a lot of conflicts and disagreements, when we can see how this also can be very draining. If you leave your team in stage 2 for too long, this is how people start to disengage. I don't want to come to work anymore. I don't want to go to meetings anymore because we're going to fight and we're going to disagree and we're not going to move forward. So that would bring a lot of stress. And so the question will become for you as a leader or for you as a team member, how do you help your team to move into stage 3 and stage 4 so that you can accelerate the maturity level and reap the benefits? Because once you get to stage 3 and stage 4, maybe we can skip the next few slides, Leila, and go to the last slide with the research. If you keep going down, the next one, yeah. Because once you get to stage 3 and stage 4, this is where we see that you will have more satisfied customers and managers. If you're in the manufacturing industry, this is where your team, your organization will be able to produce more goods. If you're in the financial sector, this is where you will see that your team will be able to manage money better. And even more importantly, one of the biggest consequences of having a stage 3 and stage 4 team is team members experiencing a higher level of work satisfaction and a lower level of emotional exhaustion. So we can see how actually making sure that your team goes through these 4 stages of team development, get into stage 3 and stage 4 as fast as possible, will get you and your organization to perform better from a productivity and customer centricity perspective, but also from a well-being perspective.
Okay, thank you, Ous. So if I recap correctly, it looks like we are facing a kind of egg and chicken dilemma, if I may say. So according to Alex, well-being is the key driver to performance. And according to what you have just shared with us, Ous, it looks like building a high-performing team is the key to ensure team well-being and team success. So my question to you is what to do, where to start? Does well-being drive performance or does performance drive well-being?
No, thank you so much. It's really a catch-22 situation. And maybe there's another way to look at it if we go to the next slide, Leila. Maybe it's not either or. It's not, is well-being driving performance or is performance and maturity of the team driving well-being? It's not either or, maybe it's both and. And that may be
I agree.
The reframing we all need to do. 20 years ago, organizations were living by the KPIs, some KPIs around productivity, around sales revenue, and that's all that really matters. If we look at the Gen Y, the Gen Z, that's not how they decide what companies they want to work for. That's not the environment that they're looking at. And I think we can see here that, we need as leaders, whether we're leading an organization, whether we're leading a team, whether we're just leading ourselves, to be able to focus on both. Focus both on performance and on well-being. If you're able to deliver on those 2 elements, this is how you can create growth for yourself as an individual, growth for your team, and growth for the organization. If you're only focusing on well-being and don't care about the performance of the organization, that's just holidays. And most probably, and unfortunately, you will get fired if you stay there for too long. If you only focus on the performance and not enough on the well-being, that's what we call squeeze the lemon. And you can only squeeze a lemon for so long. What that means is that if you keep squeezing your employees, most probably they will leave at some point. So you have to restart again. And of course, if you're not delivering on performance and not delivering on well-being, that's where you are getting bored. That's where we can be what we can call passive burnout. Everyone is talking about quiet quitting. That's exactly what it is. I don't care about what I do. I don't care about the organization. I don't really care about myself. I just, turn up to work, do what I need to do, go back home. And this is not really where you want to be and where your team members want to be. So the $1 million question is exactly what you said, Olivier. How do we get to this growth? What are some of the key ingredients to getting there, and getting there as fast as possible? Because every time you spend in the squeeze the lemon or the holiday or the boredom and quiet quitting space is money and time and well-being that's wasted for you, for your team, and for the organization. I don't know what are your thoughts about this, Alex?
Yeah, I fully agree. And since we started to work and discuss together on these topics, they are completely linked to each other. And I think the key word here is how to manage growth, personal growth, team growth, and organization growth. And this is the most important topic to focus on, integrating all these ingredients about well-being and performance into it. So growth is really the key here.
Okay, thank you, Ous. Thank you, Alice. I think we all love holiday vibes and Club Med atmosphere, but unfortunately, it's not a sustainable strategy for growth and success. And because we all aim for growth, we believe that the foundation to bridging well-being and performance lies in 3 pillars. As Alex just said, individual growth, leadership growth, and team growth. First, the first pillar is around self-knowledge and BYOWM. Maybe you ask yourself, what does it mean? So Alex asked me if it is a mosquito, if it's the name of a mosquito. So BYOWM stands for Be Your Own Well-Being Master. So the idea here, and this is some of our personalized program, guide you to gain deep understanding of your triggers, your needs, your energy management. You can also learn some techniques to develop resilience and develop your growth mindset in order to overcome difficulties, to learn from challenges and also adapt to any situations. And you will be also equipped with some communication tools that will help you to develop empathy and understanding in order to build meaningful and sustainable connections with your teams and with your colleagues and your stakeholders. The second pillar is around continuous development of leadership skills. So the idea here is leaders need to develop very deep understanding about the needs, the values, the motivations of their team member. It's also about enhancing communication and cultivating an environment that foster collaboration and trust, like what Ous mentioned previously. And last but not least, nurturing the growth means encouraging personal and professional growth in order to unlock the potential of each member of the team. Last but not least, team culture and team mindset. And it's about building a positive culture and a high-performing team where every team member feels safe, valued, and engaged. So I think before to hand over to you for Q&A, I just would like here to present some of our personalized programs. So these personalized programs help you to empower your team members and your team with tools and strategies that bridge the gap between well-being and performance, and it's also help to develop leadership skills, self-knowledge and leadership skills. So the first program is our flagship program called Reconnect. It follows 4 steps approach called ETAP, E for explore, T for transform, A for achieve, and P for perform. So it is a comprehensive journey that is designed to empower you with tools, strategies, learning for self-knowledge and leadership skills. And it's available on various, I would say, formats that suits your preferences and needs. So you can choose from individual and assessment tools, masterclass or workshop, group coaching, or one-on-one coaching. And the second program, it's all about team performance. So it's based on the innovative and immersive experience of Mickey Islands. And it has been designed to empower your team with the mindset and the behavior of success. So it includes team assessment, experiential learning workshop, and also team coaching sessions. So no more talk and no more sales pitch at this stage, because we are already we want to give you some time to ask all your questions. So hand over to you, and we are ready to answer all your questions.
Yeah, there's already two very interesting questions. One Ous started to try to answer from Olivier, how to balance. And I think this is key. This is the way to move forward. In my own opinion, it's all have to start with us, finding the time for us. It's not selfish, allowing some time to us, but the better we understand ourselves, the better equipped we are to understand others and work with others. So I think this is really the beginning. I don't know, Ous or Leila, if you have other things to add to that.
Ous?
No, I quite agree with you, Alexandre. I think it's a lot about intentionality. And if you're the leader of a team, right? I do think you set the scene and you set the stage of what is important for everyone. So if all you talk about and all that matters to you as an individual is, the sales and the revenue that your sales team has achieved at the end of the quarter, well, that's how you're going to be focused only on performance. So being intentional and aware that you want to focus on well-being, sharing that with your team members, that this is a priority for you, I think is the starting point. The reality is that as a team leader, you don't need to find all of the answers yourself. But just by putting it on the table, creating a little bit of awareness and creating some open conversation with your team about what can be done will help you to find the right way forward. Because the reality is that there might be different ways to go around this, depending on your industry, depending on your team, depending on the on the culture of the organization. But the starting point, if you're not there yet, if you haven't started to do anything, is just to create some awareness within your team about the fact that this is important for you, this is important for the organization, and creating some conversation around this.
Absolutely. And we have another question from Taufik on, he said, I understand that well-being is first a self-responsibility as a team member and a leader if you are one, but to make a real impact, it should be an overall common strategy in the overall organization. In an organization, who should drive the well-being? This is a great question. And
yeah. I have no answer yet about the ideal solution, about who should be responsible for that. Should it be the company? Should be helped with other specialized company? Should it come from, the employees of the company? I think it could be also interesting to hear about what you think. What should be the ideal solution? One of the things I try to raise as discussions in the Wellbeing Campus is to connect with company, to engage conversation with company, to ask them about this question and see how we can address that complex question into the, into the discussion. So definitely this is something that will be open, but I'm interested to know what you think about what should be the ideal solution. I don't know if you, Leila or Ous, you have an opinion about that.
Yep. Of course. So this is the key questions, and for me, I can. It's how to say. I can answer to these questions with one belief. I believe that it's everything is related about taking care first, taking care of yourself and taking care of others. And I think there is some individual responsibility here, but this is what companies should promote, is taking care of yourself and taking care of each other. Everyone is responsible for his own well-being. but everyone also should be responsible of the well-being of people on the left of him and people on the right of him. And when it is maybe it's too idealistic, and I think we are far from there. I agree, but to be honest, this is the only vision of success that I believe in. Gus, you have anything to share?
No, I like this. Very often I talk about top-down intentionality and bottom-up solution. I agree with you, Taufik. I think if there is no commitment from the top in an organization, you won't be able to create real impact. But it doesn't mean that all the solutions need to come from the C-level executive. I think engaging and involving everyone in finding the right solution for your organization. So bottom-up solution is important. This is where the middle management becomes key in making it happen. Now, what I have seen as well is that you find sometimes some organizations that have a culture that's what we could call a little bit toxic, very focused on performance. And even though in those organizations, you can find some teams that are able to focus on well-being. So even if your organization is not doing anything right now, it doesn't mean that you as a leader or you as an individual cannot do anything. You won't be able to change the entire culture. There's already one step that you can take to make it a little bit better. As you said, Leila, for the people around you or the people in your team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think, I agree also with Norbert, that it should be orchestrated by management and HR, but it's very important to be able to embark, your employees, within that journey. And if it's only coming from the top, you will have a lot of difficulties to embark people, especially in the well-being environment, which is very personal. It's also all of questions of individual. And if it's only coming from top to the bottom, it could be perceived as a bit of ingérence from the company into the private space of the employee. So it's very important not to impose, solutions for well-being as just top down, but really embark all employees within these initiatives. So having maybe in teams people who are willing to be like well-being officers at their level could be a nice way also to embark employees within that journey.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I just would like to add something very important. I think we all agree that, of course, it's something that should be supported globally with the culture of with the culture of the organization, and it's also a shared responsibility between C-level leaders and individuals. And of course, I think this is what's also our message. It's we can handle also our own well-being and be our own, I would say, well-being master, but there is a limit. So the idea here, okay, so sometimes we have the growth mindset, sometimes we have developed resilience, sometimes we deployed all these strategies, but the environment is still toxic. And in this case, there is no, I think the priority is really our mental health and our own well-being. So that's why it's even if our message is be your own well-being master and everyone share this responsibility, there is always a limit. If there is a limit of this, if the environment is very, very toxic, and if there is no support within the organization or the culture. Anything to add, Us or Alex?
No, on my side, it's what I wanted to share with you.
Okay. So we
have one more question,
okay.
Leila. How can we rebuild trust and keep your team motivated when you feel that there are some conflicts and that you see that some employees are not happy in the organization?
I say Mickey Island. Ous, go ahead.
I think definitely Mickey Island is a great way forward. We've been working with hundreds of teams over the last 2 years from leading organization, and Fatima, this is one of the most common challenges that we get. Just showing the 4 stages of team development and understanding that conflict is actually stage 2, and reframing that this is something to celebrate is already one step forward. So conflict and disagreement is, number 1, necessary, and number 2, healthy for the development of a team. You should really worry if there is no conflict, no disagreement in the team. And so just reframing this and sharing this knowledge and understanding across every team member is extremely important. Now the question becomes, how do we make sure that we can disagree and we can handle conflict or disagreement in a very respectful way? So conflict doesn't mean that we shout at each other. It's just that we have different opinions and different way forward. And so that requires some specific skills and competence from the team member, but also from the team leader to facilitate this conversation within the team in a healthy manner that will get your team to stage 3. So one, sharing that it's actually a good thing because you're no longer in stage 1, you're already in stage 2, that this is a necessary step, and giving the right tools to your team members or for you as a leader to be able to facilitate those conversations is going to be the key so that you don't get stuck in stage 2 and you get to stage 3. I know we're getting short on time, but I think if you want to dive deeper into this, I think as we see in the slide, booking a discovery call with Leila, so you can dive into more details about this and about the tools that are available with Early Growth and Esanova, Mickey Island, or the Reconnect program are amazing tools that are available for you to build your competence to work through this challenge for yourself or for your team members.
Yeah, thank you, Ous, and absolutely agree. We all believe that conflicts are sometimes very healthy. You know, it's people expressing their frustration or their different opinion, and I think we need to be concerned when there is no conflict or where there is hidden conflicts. This is where disengagement and passive burnout occurs. So yes, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. We are almost at the top of the hour. I just would like to thank you all for attending this webinar, and I really hope that you found it informative. As Ous just suggested, please feel free to book your discovery call. We are very happy to discuss your challenges and see how we can work together. And to finish, I think having a sustainable well-being strategy that highly impact performance is possible. So let's just talk and see how we move forward. So thank you again for your time and for your engagement. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Ous, and see you all very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.